Okay, hi Connie. I thought I'd do a little bit with this, and maybe it'll help you along. Um, looks like you've done just fine. Oh, you created a basement. I just now noticed that. Looks like you intend a walkout basement. Maybe. So I just guessed that because you put this wall, non-concrete type wall on the back. Let me look at the model. I glanced at it earlier. Yeah, okay. All right. It's all up on stilts. I get it now. Well, I can only suppositionally assume that maybe you walk in here and then the topography on your lot is slanted, but that's beyond the scope of what you asked me to figure out. Let's mention that in passing. Okay. So I'm going to make some assumptions about what you've done because you haven't given me full data. And the picture that you shared with me, this one, well, I guess this part over here is similar to what you drew. So it's covered, but, you know, it's covered around the periphery of the house, but not, and there's a little open porch that's not covered. Okay. So what I would do is go over to the wall tools. Now, you see I've got my icon set up a little bit differently. It's over under Edit, Preferences. I forget exactly where, General, I think, maybe. Nope. Toolbars, Parent-Child. See, I have mine set up a little bit differently. That's what I'm used to. So anyway, I'm going to click on the wall tools and draw an invisible wall across here. Ooh, you got angle snaps off. Let me get rid of that and make sure the angle snaps are on. Snaps, angle snaps. If angle snaps are off, you can't it's very difficult to draw a straight line. There we go. So I want to separate this deck from this deck because this is covered and this is not covered. Now when you name a room deck, by default, you go to the Structure tab and the ceiling's been taken out automatically by the software. It's just a programming command. See, names of rooms are not just names, they're actually programming commands, and a deck will always come in with no ceiling over the thing. That's fine. Only this space here, I think I don't want a roof over it either, so I'm going to uncheck that. These spaces here, which is the rest of the deck, that should be ceiling over this room and roof. So I just turned on the ceiling. You didn't have the ceiling on. Now, in the picture, let me turn that back on. Obviously, you know, this is a steeper pitch than what goes over the porch. It looks like, at a guess, over the porch, it looks like 312, which is the lowest pitch you can use by code and use shingles, and they use shingles here, so I have to assume it's 312. It might be steeper than that, but it doesn't look like it. This, I would guess at 1012. I'm just going to guess. These are flatter on the dormers. They look like 412, maybe 512. I'd say 412. Excuse me, I have the flu, so I'm going to be coughing from time to time. Sorry about that. Okay, so these suppositions I'm going to impress onto into the software. So I want the, excuse me, in the Build Roof dialog, click there and click on Build Roof. I'm not going to build roof right now. Well, I guess I can. I'll just use Auto Build Roofs. See right here, I want the pitches at, I want the main roof to be 1012. So I'm going to set it to 1012. Where's the overhang? Good Lord. Those overhangs are a little bit beyond the pale. Let's set them at 12 and 18 for gable. Excuse me. And of course, whatever it builds right now is going to be goofy looking because I haven't. Let's just look at it so you can see it as it develops. Excuse me. I didn't realize this is going to be so bad. Oh, sorry about that. Wow. My apologies. See, it's not entirely what we want, but I did get the uncovered area here. And this goofiness here is just part of the ongoing process. I have no excuse me, explanation for that. I'm not worried about it. What we want around, we have to tell the software what we want. So I'm going to open this wall here and tell it over this wall, I want the pitch to be 3. And with auto rebuild roofs on, it's responding to each time I make a change. The software will respond to that change. I want this to 3. I guess it might be instructive if I was to do an overview. I'm going to hit Shift F6 to tile the screens. Now you can watch this kind of develop as I make the changes. I'm going to click on this screen to make it the active screen. I'm going to do this wall here. And it's the same repetitive action, one right after the other. I want 312 there. Click OK. You'll see this area change. Not totally ideal, but it's more in the direction of where we want to go. Again, the roof tab, lower pitch 3. This upper pitch is for like when you do a barn roof or a salt box or something like that. By the way, data like that on how to do these roofs is in the build roof dialog. Yeah, build roofs, build roof. Yeah, and you go to roof styles, and you can click on these, and it'll open an article on how to do a gable roof and what settings you have to put in the wall. And there's all the major roof types. There's the gambrel or barn, salt box, where you have one pitch on one side and a different pitch on the other, and so forth. So I just point that out to you. Now we'll move on with our programming. This wall here needs to be told that it should have a 312 pitch over it, and when I click OK, you'll see that change be implemented. And we've still got this artifact here. I'm not worried about it. I'm perhaps concerned about it because it's unwanted, but it's not at this time. You always concentrate on the product in front of you and not other side issues. Here we want a gable. We don't want a hip. So I'm going to open that wall, this wall here, and tell it to be a gable roof. And you'll see a gable form there, I hope. Well, we didn't get a change there. Same thing on the other end. So you guide the software to a result. Okay. So maybe the last time I opened the build roof dialog, I turned off inadvertently, automatically. No, it's still on. Well, fiddlesticks. Okay. This sort of thing, I'm just going to skip it. I don't care. You get lots of messages that don't seem to make any sense. And I only pay attention to them if it actually helps me get my work done. And we got 2 artifacts here. Got one here for some reason. See, I want to rotate the camera. No, it's not. Oh, I see. I don't use Architectrual all the time. I use Pro more often, and there we go. Get it rotating. Now, if I had Pro or Chief Premier, I could very quickly get rid of those artifacts. But we're in Architectural, and it's not quite so straightforward. So I told that to be a gable, and it didn't gable. Now that's a little unexpected. So what can I do about that? I thought when I told this program the walls to be gables, that they would gable. So what am I missing here? Yeah, the pitches look about right. I think maybe I'm going to go 12-12. I'm going to go back to the build roof dialog and set the pitch to 12. See, now all the walls that I manually programmed to be 312, they're still 312. Oh, and the artifacts went away. Good. But we still don't have our stinking gable here. How can I do that? My apologies, I don't use Architectural all the time, and I could get lazy and reopen this file in Pro or Cheap or something and just fix it. But that doesn't help you, because you're going to pretty much bump into the same problems I'm bumping into. But we're quite a bit, I think also across here where I've got that invisible wall, I'm going to change my mind. What the heck is that? Whatever it was, I didn't mean to put that there. I'm going to open this invisible wall. Yeah, you can watch this area here. I'm going to change this to, oh, you can't change walls, I don't think, in Architectural like you can in Pro and in Chief Premiere. Yeah, I'll just have to redraw it. No big deal. I'm going to zoom in over here. Due to my not, okay, yeah, see it all went wonky when I got rid of that wall, but I need a deck tools wall there, straight. We'll draw that back. Yeah, and of course I don't want a railing there, so I have to tell the object how I want it. We'll go to roof style. We'll get rid of the rails, no rails, and tell it to be post overhead beam, which I assume that's what you've done with these other walls. And maybe that's more posts than you want, but you can control that sort of thing. Let me show you. Just open that wall and go to newels and balusters and change the on-center spacing. We'll change it to 20 feet. And it should get, I got rid of most of the, now we just have one here. Excuse me, 1, 1, and 1. Let me increase that value. Let's see, that's newels and balusters. Change that to 36 feet. I just picked a figure, something that's wider than the span, and then now there's just one here and one here. You get the idea. You can do that on any of these, and that's how you control the spacing of the newel posts. Well, I don't know. I'm stumped on this gable thing. I think I've gotten it pretty close. In terms of, you were asking about 12 foot, and that's going to be totally determined by the geometry from here to here and there to there. We can look at that. Now, I'm stumped on the gable. I'm sorry, maybe somebody who uses Architectural all the time may be able to point you to how to get the gable in. Since I'm a Premiere and Pro user, I would just manually just fix it. But that, like I say, that doesn't help you. And I'm sorry for that, and maybe somebody smarter than me who uses Architectural and some of the programs that use automatic roof creation tools can give you a tip on that. I can't think of anything right now. I did what should have worked, and it didn't work. So let's take a look at your other question. Let me go back to plan view, get rid of that. And I don't remember how good the elevation camera is in, but we'll take a look. And okay. Boy, interior cross sections are just pretty amateurish in Architectural. I'm sorry. Let's see if we can figure it out from the outside. Okay, this is better. Because then I've got a cross section here of the whole building, and we'll just use the tape measure. And Yeah, that's 8 feet. And then up here to where the transition of from 312 to 1212, it's 10'7". So if you want this, let me do this again. So if you want this dimension here to be 12, then we're going to have to steepen the pitch on the porch. You get the idea? Let's just do that. And again, I don't think I can shift select these. When I shift select them, there's no open icon. In Pro, in Chief Premiere, you can do that. So, but in Architectural, you have to do them one wall at a time. And so we'll change this to 412. Just for speed's sake, I'm just going to do it on 2 sides. And then do a cross section again. Oh, I guess I can't. Since I can't do an interior cross section like you can in Pro and in Chief, then I'll have to do the whole thing. Won't take but a moment. Where's my, oh yeah, roof. I want that at 4. I've got auto rebuild roofs on. So again, you can see it responding to these changes that I'm making as I make them. Otherwise, I'd make the changes and then, okay, I've still got my camera open in here. So hit Control Tab and go back to it. See, now this has been raised. By how much, I'm not sure. That's what the measuring tools are for. I guess you might find somebody who's smart enough to be able to think all this in their heads. Okay, that's 11'7". Now I'm assuming that this is the point where you want 12 feet. But you see the geometry involved is what determines that height. So we're pretty close. But you see what you would do then is just raise these outer pitches, and then that would raise this, or these two pitches come together. I hope that communicates. You understand that. Let's cross section it from the other side. I don't know. It looks like patterns are turned off. We got tools, display, settings. See if patterns 3D is off. Hit P. Okay, that layer doesn't exist in Architectural. Never mind. It does in Pro and in Chief Premiere. Excuse me. Well, I never did solve the gable thing, and I'm sorry for that. But since I'm doing this for free and I have the flu, I don't think I have much to apologize for. Well, let me just show you. I'm going to take this and save it. A picture is worth 10,000 words. We'll go over here and open Pro 2014. I don't think opening your file in Pro will sully it in any way. Okay. As soon as it finishes initializing. Come on, we have an all day. There we go. We'll open plan. I put your folder on the desktop. There you are. We'll open it in Pro, and I'll just show you how I would excuse me, do it in Pro, which doesn't help you any. I understand. I'm sorry for that, but I just hate to leave it kind of unfinished. See, in Pro, I can just click on that, and it selects the whole patootie. I can just delete that. Okay. I see what's going on. Now, I'm going to take this and put a break line over here, right there, and then drag this edge down. I'm not going to do all of this in a camera view because it's very difficult to do this accurately in a camera view. But there's that 412. I'll hit Shift F6. And you can kind of see this as I develop it. I want to click on this. The plan view is the active screen. And then I want to click here And you know, see, I use these little snap indicators so I can get the snaps relatively close to where I want them. And then just manually pull this edge here over. Now, whenever I get this dialog, I usually say, don't show me this again, and no thank you, because the software doesn't have a clue on what I want to do. Any notions you have that the software knows anything, just get them out of your head. That's not true. Software is about as intelligent as a hammer or an anvil, which, you know, if you have an experience with hammers and anvils, they're not very intelligent. So they're only as intelligent as the end user. I'm going to pull this over to get a little overhang. Now, I'm just demonstrating, so I'm not being very precise here with dimensions and so forth, which I commonly would do if I was doing this for real. Now I need an attic wall here, and the software is not going to be smart enough to just put an attic wall there automatically. Sometimes it is, but most of the time it isn't. So I'm going to go up to the attic level, and then turn on the reference display. Now I can see the edge of the roof planes, and I want, this is an automatically generated wall, and I'm just going to drag it over to where I want it, just inside the edge of the roof. The software will replace the one I drug over there automatically. Okay, there it is. Now this wall here is making an unwanted artifact there. So this wall here, I'm going to take it and make it invisible. If you try to delete automatically generated walls, they just automatically regenerate. So that's not something I recommend. Now this one's, the other little short one is making an artifact. So again, the software just telling me that I'm doing what I'm doing, so I'm just going to ignore that and make that one invisible, and we should be able to get rid of that little artifact in there. I mean, the software is just an intricate automaticity created by very intelligent people, but it's not intelligent inherently itself. I'm sorry. Perhaps it'd be nice if that was true, but it's not true. Now I'm going to rotate this to the other end and do pretty much the same thing I did before. We'll get rid of this plane, which is not really needed and wanted. And again, I'm going to see, that's the whole point of Pro and Sheaf, is that I can directly manually manipulate these things. And it's rather nice. Excuse me, we'll break this in. Some of you Pro users will appreciate this. I don't mind doing it. You know, I don't think people believe me, but I really love doing this. I love using this software and this sort of creative endeavor. It's quite satisfying to me, and I like helping other people. Now this ridge has become a little bit out of sync from my manually editing. Now in Pro and in Sheaf, you got the join roofs tool, you know, straighten that line out and reattach the ridge to itself. And then we go one up here. I can't see the roof planes like I did for whatever reason. Oh, I know why. I haven't changed, I didn't make the overhang. Oh, I see. What am I looking at? That's weird. Oh, this dumb 412 thing's going way the heck up into the house. Okay. I didn't realize that at first. Get over there. Okay, now I want that one. Yeah, I didn't create any overhang. So I'm just going to drag that down. It's a little unfinished, but this tutorial on manual roof editing is not really going to be all that useful to you since your software didn't do this. Now I can see the two red lines. That's what I couldn't see before. Just to drag this over and let the software will automatically replace the wall I just moved, see? And now we're done. So that's kind of your house. Now, why I couldn't do this in Architectrual, I was a little bit surprised by that and chagrined, because I like to be right all the time and never, not display any not knowing how to do something. Oh yeah, I need to take this edge, drag that up. I'm showing down here in the porch. Probably the same thing over here. Yeah, and drag that out of there so it looks less goofy. Okay, hit F6 on this side, F6. Yeah, there we go. So that's basically your house. Excuse me, and that's the process you would go through. In architectural, maybe one of the other kids or people, and I'm sorry, not kids, but ladies and gentlemen on the forum who use architectural might be able to advise you how to get this done in architectural, the gable thing, without having to upgrade to pro. And I make it look easy, but I've been doing this for almost 20 years, and for me it is easy. Not because I'm an intellectual giant, but because I've laboriously figured out how to do all this stuff, and I have a relatively good memory. Well, thank you for watching. I hope this helps you and anybody else who's interested in spending the time to look. Thank you.